Welcome to Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio, News Talk 1180 for the very best in Saturday Talk Radio at 1 o'clock, and again on 1230 KGEO at 10 o'clock on Saturday, and for the best in Wednesday Talk Radio on 1410 KERI on Wednesday at 1 o'clock, and now we are in Albuquerque, New Mexico on 1000 KKIM. Your host is Clay Koerner, and I'm Marty Pay, and behind the big board is the producer's producer, the man, the legend, Greg Held. Hey, Clay, that was a great show last week with Eric Rush, the man who broke the Reverend Wright story. He made some comments about Benghazi and Boston that were interesting, and it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of weeks to see if he's right.
Definitely right.
Yeah, I definitely think there was some kind of cover-up, and this week we've got those the little meetings that the Senate's having with the whistleblowers, and it'll be interesting to see what comes out of these.
More cover-up.
Yeah. We also had Doug Johnson. His comments on the NSA data center frightened me a little bit. You know, all communication in that database is going to be, it's there for security purposes, but they're also, looking at some privacy issues out there they may be evading, but, we'll see with that with time. But today we've got another incredible show. In the second half, we've got Gordon Fisher from the Military Officers Association of America talking about an upcoming event. But now we have an old friend of the program, former Libertarian VP candidate and author of a great new book near the top of the charts, The Ultimate Obama Survival Guide, How to Survive, Thrive, and Prosper During Obamageddon. Wayne Allen Root. Wayne, welcome to Taking Care of Business.
Hey, Marty and Clay, how are you?
Good. Hey, where is this book on the New York Times bestseller list? Is it near the top?
Well, no, here's the deal. There's two different things in this world nowadays. There's Amazon, and then there's how you sell in bookstores. And New York Times, no one is quite sure how they come up with their list.
Yeah.
All I could tell you is Rachel Maddow was on their list like 5-6 weeks in a row.
For some strange reason.
And the first week my book came out, and then all succeeding weeks, it's been out for 4 weeks, it's beaten Rachel Maddow every single week, but didn't make the New York Times bestseller list. So no one quite knows for sure why that is, but this week's New York Times list comes out tonight, and my publisher thinks I have a great shot. They've seen my sales, and it's really the best-selling political book in America in bookstores as of last week. It's top 50 out of all books. That includes, things like women's diet books, cookbooks, you name it, sports books. It's top 50 out of all of them, and there's no political book above me. So I think we'll be on the New York Times bestseller list tonight. But either way, I've been the number one political book in Amazon for almost every day the last 4 weeks, and the number one finance book in Amazon for almost every day the last 4 weeks.
Well, Wayne, your book is a similar name. Yours is The Ultimate Obama Survival Guide. There's another book that's being heavily marketed called Obamacare Survival Guide. And I have to say, I have both books. And the other book, Obamacare Survival Guide, is really done before your book came out and before the election, before the Supreme Court voting, where your book has more useful information than that book.
Well, yeah, the other book is a fine book. Chris Ruddy of Newsmax is a friend of mine, and Newsmax is the one who published that book, one of the biggest conservative websites in the country. I give him kudos, but the book is a very niche book. It's about one thing and one thing only,
right.
Obamacare. My book covers Obamacare, but the Ultimate Obama Survival Guide, which is mine, covers everything from your survival, how to turn your house into a fortress, to homeschooling your children, because we homeschool our kids, and my daughter's at Harvard and now Oxford, and it's about how to make money on the next 4 years of Obama. And then as a throw-in, as a bonus, there's a chapter written by a doctor about Obamacare as well. So my book kind of is a well-rounded book that covers everything you need in your life for the next 4 years to survive Barack Obama.
Well, it's amazing when you look at the table of contents in this book. Like you say, everything from how to survive Obamageddon to how did America become a banana republic, tax fraud, the mask is off, invest in oil, gas, and energy, becoming your own boss. You really, really cover all the bases here.
Thank you. And you know what the Banana Republic chapter is about? If you go in and look at it, the entire Banana Republic chapter, it comes down to the fact, and I wrote this book, keep in mind, December, January, February, so this is way before today's Benghazi hearings, and this book mentions Banana Republic in the context that what has happened to our country when the media won't report on the most criminal action in the history of the presidency. This man, Barack Obama, let 4 Americans die in Benghazi, Libya. He didn't care. They were under attack. He refused to help them. He refused to send reinforcements. And then when it was over, he had a re-election to worry about, so he covered the whole thing up. He asked Hillary Clinton to basically be a criminal with him and commit a crime. It's fraud. He made up the fact that this was about a video, when in reality it was an attack by Al Qaeda on the American embassy, and they lied for weeks, telling everybody it was a spontaneous thing about a video. I mean, if this isn't criminal, guys, I don't know what is. If Obama is not impeached over this, then he is unimpeachable. There's nothing you can do to put Obama away, because the media will lie for him and cover for him anytime he wants, and it's a sin. And today, finally, it's all coming out with Benghazi. I believe Hillary Clinton's career is through. Her chances of running for president are zero after this, and Barack Obama should, in fact, be impeached. We shall see.
You know, Wayne, it's interesting. I had a conversation with a friend of mine the other day. He was talking about this being no comparison to Watergate,
right.
and I said, you're right, but I disagree with you totally. I said in Watergate there wasn't anybody killed. Here you had a couple of special force guys, America's finest, that died needlessly. So this is much more important than Watergate, and it's being covered up.
Well, how about an ambassador? Nothing's more important. I mean, everyone's life's important, but, whether it's a secretary, a janitor, a Navy SEAL guy, or an ambassador. But let's face it, when an ambassador for the first time in 30 years is killed in an American embassy, that's big news.
That's
and
our
Obama
soil.
Didn't care. This guy was getting dragged through the streets. Folks, forget about the cover-up. Forget about the fact you refused to help them. Forget about the fact that before it ever happened, they asked for help and reinforcements, and he wouldn't send it. How about just he knew they were under attack by rebels, and he just went to sleep for the night? I mean, are you kidding me? If I was president of the United States and my embassy was under attack and an ambassador was screaming for help, and I just went to sleep, are you telling me that man deserves to be president? I think he deserves a prison cell.
Yeah, I agree. Our guest by phone, the always effervescent Wayne Root, the author of The Ultimate Obama Survival Guide.
Wayne, I know you're a betting man because you live in that area, but I'm going to bet you that Obama overcomes this, and Hillary's probably going to be the next president.
Yeah. Well, listen, then we live in a banana republic. My chapter is correct.
Exactly.
Because that's what's happening. If the media doesn't care because they're on the side of the person, Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, if they have the same views as the media, they're liberal and they love each other, they're extreme left wing and they went to the same colleges together. If that's the case, then we no longer live in a correct society.
You know, I read a little bit of your book, and a question I have is, why should Texas be the gold standard, and why should Detroit be the model for Obama's America?
All right, well, let me explain first, because we have a lot of time in this interview, so I want to just give a quick explanation. I'm going to answer your question about Detroit and Texas, but I do want to make sure people know. I could have written this book about how you save America, and these two chapters would have been the centerpiece of the entire book, and then I would have gone from there. Because the way you save America is you make sure you have conservatives in charge like Texas, and you make sure you never have liberal or leftists or communists in charge like Obama, and that's who's run Detroit. And so in a second I'll tell you about those two stories. But I didn't write the book like that, because Obama's been reelected, so we have no choice. He's going to be in charge the next 4 years, so I don't believe you can save America. I think what you have to worry about is saving yourself. So 90% of this book is about ways the average middle-class individual can save themselves, whether it's survival, Obamacare, or whether it's making money in the stock market, in real estate, or with gold. That's what this book's about, how you can save yourself no matter how bad things get and no matter how much of a collapse Obama causes. Now back to your answer. Yes, there were two chapters that show you how to save America if you didn't have Obama as president, but you do. So I don't know that there's any chance. But if you look at Detroit, it's been run by Democrats since the year I was born, 1961. So 71, 81, 91, 2001, and 2011. That's over 50 years, 5 decades of Democrats in charge without any Republican to stop them. And the result is the city's completely bankrupt, largest city in the history of America to go bankrupt. It's $2.5 billion in debt, $11 million in government employee retirement obligations. The mayor of Detroit recently said he believes true unemployment tops 50%. 75% of the children born in Detroit in the last 12 months were born to unmarried mothers. 35% of the people in Detroit get food stamps. It was ranked America's most violent city for the 4th year in a row. It's the murder capital of America. 2/3 of the street lamps are out. 1/5 of the highway lights are out. Homes in Detroit sell for an average of $16,000 a home, which is by far the lowest in America. If you add up all the abandoned homes and abandoned lots in Detroit, it's bigger size than the entire city of Paris, France. Population's gone from 2 million to 700,000. And I guess here's the most damning ones of all. 54% of the children in Detroit live in poverty. 50% of the adults are functionally illiterate, meaning they can't read a basic prescription for their medicine. They can't fill out a job form. This is what you get, folks, when you put Democrats in charge and let them have their way with the Barack Obama agenda.
Okay, now, Wayne,
let's chilling. You don't have chills down your spine hearing that list. I don't know what else to tell you, but Detroit is an example of what Obama will do to the whole United States of America. And in just a quick sentence, I'll sum up Texas. Texas run by conservatives, and it leads the nation in jobs for the last 5 years, the last 10 years. In the last decade, it's created more jobs than the other 49 states combined, and they have an $8 billion budget surplus instead of debt or deficit. If that doesn't tell you the way to run America, I don't need to say another word.
And let's pick up there when we come back, okay? We'll be back in a moment on Taking Care of Business on Koerner Radio, News Talk, 1180.